Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to another podcast of the Buttery Show. And we have here a new guest and a special guest with me, my friend James. How's up, James?
How's it going, everyone? It's good to be here.
Yes, before we start, James, can you introduce yourself to the viewers? Introduce what you like and awesome stuff about you.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Born and raised in Southern California. I'm an artist, animator, so I do a lot of art on the side. Big nerd at heart, love anime, so that's why I'm so happy to be here today.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. So for again, thanks for coming, James. And I haven't done this for a while. You guys haven't seen me for a while. Of course, I was busy at work. So, yeah. Of course, we're now here to discuss Demon Slayer, or the final battle, the first part of the final battle of Demon Slayer. Now, you guys don't know. Demon Slayer is actually a hit anime series that came out like 2007 or 8, right? Doesn't no like 12, somewhere around like that, in the
Yeah.
middle of 2000s. Um, yeah, basically, you guys don't know the story of Demon Slayer is about like there's this evil demon that looks like Michael Jackson. His name is Muzan. And then in order to combat Muzan and his demons, there's this group of warriors called the Demon Slayer Corps that their main goal is to try to defeat him, and so demons are no longer existing in Japan, or I'd say maybe the world, right? And then after, and then this story spans like hundreds of years into their timeline, where exactly like let's say where these demon slayer corps are trying to kill Muzan, but it's hard to find him. But the story actually revolves around a warrior, a demon slayer warrior named Tanjiro. Now Tanjiro's family is killed by Muzan, and also his sister turns into a demon. Now, what they don't expect that Tanjiro has a special gift, including his sister who actually becomes a demon, but she's not really eating people and actually has humanity. And we find out later in the series that she's not exposed, that she's not doesn't get killed by sunlight. And that's where the goal, that's where the journey, basically the story's journey is about Tanjiro developing into a warrior, a powerful demon slayer, and meeting new friends and allies on the way, and getting especially mentored by these masters called Hashiras, which is basically elemental masters that can use their breeding to fight demons. That's what the powers of the demon slayers are. So yeah. So before we start, James, what are your thoughts on this movie?
Okay, so it is 2 hours and a half long. I saw this film both in sub and dubbed, so that should tell you how much I love the series. It is a great film. It is a long film. So for those who haven't seen it or are interested, just get ready for that. Make sure you're comfortable. I highly recommend it. It is a great watch, especially if you're a fan of the series.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So let's get this stuff. Okay, so before you guys continue watching. This is a spoiler review. This is a spoiler review. Just heads up. There will be spoilers talked about in this review. So we're gonna spoil it. If you haven't watched the movie yet, go ahead and stop watching this and go ahead and watch the movie. Go watch the anime series, the first four seasons again. You have to because it is a continuation. And another fact is that this movie is gonna be a trilogy. So yeah, it is the first part of the final trilogy. Just let you guys know. Okay, so thoughts. My thoughts on the movie, it was amazing. I love the animation. I love the animation. I love the action, the music. It was all too good. I loved it. How about you, James?
I'm a big fan of the animation. That's what drew me in instantly. I read the manga, but I wasn't sure about the series at first. But then when I saw snippets of the first episode, I'm like, ah, so good. And to see it progress from the first episode to right now, the movie is just awe-inspiring. Music's great, story well driven. I really enjoy this series so far.
What are your thoughts? Oh yeah, actually, what are your thoughts on the opening sequence? Because remember the last season they fell in the,
Yeah.
okay, what, wait for what? Because a lot of people are talking about the opening sequence. What are your thoughts on the opening sequence of the film?
opening sequence of the film, like how it starts off?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I think it's very symbolic. I think visually, again, it's just a masterpiece. Like if you have no idea of what the series is, the movie does a great job of giving you little snippets, giving you a little kind of like intro of what to expect. If you are a fan of the series, you're gonna really enjoy the detail they put for certain characters, their roles in the film. I heard that people are a little bit in the middle between it. I personally am a big fan of it. I really enjoy how they really match it with the music too. So while you're watching these characters fall in, literally going downhill into their story, you really get to see practically the whole surrounding. So it's not just also focused on the characters; it's also focused on the environment because it's called Infinity Castle. It literally is just a humongous, huge castle setup, just going on for all to see. It is such an eyesore in the best way possible.
Yeah, so there's a reason why this movie is called Infinity Castle, because like what James explained it, the main Demon Slayer corpse, actually all of the Demon Slayer corpse, they fall into Muzan's lair, which is Infinity Castle. That is actually controlled by one of his upper demons. So yeah, before you guys continue, like Muzan actually has generals called upper demons. Um, so this movie starts, almost half those upper demons were already killed in the first or first. Wait, I'm actually counting demons. So first one, Mugen Train. That's entertainment. Oh, 4 seasons. So the first 4 seasons, half the super demons have been killed by Tanjiro and his friends, and half the Hashiras. Well, some of the Hashiras. Technically, two of them were killed. Actually, make it three. So yeah. So right now we're dealing with the final three powerful upper demons, which is Akaza, Doma. Actually, make it four. Doma, Akaza, Doma, uh, Akihito, the one with the six eyes,
Yeah,
and who was the fourth one? It was the one with the the ship. What do you call it? What's it like the drum, right? The Japanese guitar.
yeah. It's oh shoot, feels so bad. I
I
forgot
forgot
the
her
name.
name because he barely
Yeah.
talked about it. I forgot her name, but yeah, but anyway, she's so the demon that has the Japanese guitar. She's the one controlling the Infinity Castle. So basically, anything she expands. That's why there's a scene where like the Demon Slayer's master, which who actually sacrificed himself in season 4 for them to try to weaken Muzan. His kids are trying to like draw a map to help the Demon Slayers with the crows. Because in the Demon Slayer universe, the crows are basically their eyes and ears. They're like the surveillance. I like the part too. So, I need to ask you this: what are your thoughts on like actually the kids doing something? They didn't do anything in the first 4 seasons, and now they're actually trying. I like that. Like they're trying to like help the Demon Slayers out, trying to find Muzan with the crows. Like, basically, like they're trying to be a whole unit, like be like actually a team. What do you feel about that?
Um, Actually, it's really refreshing to see that again, like you mentioned, we see the children of the master of the demon corps, the leader, and then you see them quickly rise up to the challenge to take over. They're assembling what forces they have left. They're getting intel. It really establishes that the themes of like you know what there's this dread coming in, but we have to stay hopeful. We have to remain strong. It's really a great component to the film and to the series to see that meanwhile these characters inside Infinity Castle are fighting for their lives, they're progressing to defeat Muzan. There you see that in the background there's all these other components leading ensuring their victory, getting that intel. The scenes with the crows carrying intel, the scenes with the children building the map. They build like a catacomb of all the map pieces to help out the Demon Corps Slayers. It is a really great part of the film that I really enjoyed thoroughly.
Yes. So now this movie is known for for a lot of action. There's actually three main fights in this movie. It's actually really good. That involves one of the main characters who's Zenitsu. It was Zenitsu. He's a thunder breeding demon slayer. He's not Hashira. Yeah, I'm not gonna explain. He's not Hashira, but he's in the original. In well, before I continue, I'm gonna show you. From a good friend Mike, he actually made this little image chart. So for you guys don't are not fans of it, Look at the jokes. Yeah, of course. Tanjiro Scarface. Nausicaa was a chibi runner because of the memes. Zenitsu is the one that actually has a win the big fights. That's a no skill with the boar. Giant Bosch is Giyu. Of course, you guys, your Power Ranger fans, he is Giyu. Also Ichigo. The lion guy was actually on Goku from season 2, but he sacrificed himself. Well, he actually lost the battle, but fought valiantly. Insect Girl Shinobu. The melon girl, or the one with the heart, is actually Mitsuri. She's the love Hashira. And House Yuga is basically the master, and then Muzan's the main character, or the Michael Jackson. So I know the memes. It's kind of funny, like this is what people online are calling them, but yeah. But anyway, so the main one of the make so Zenitsu and Insect Girl, and Gyo, oh sorry, Giant Bosch. The three main fights focuses on them, and also even Tanjiro, who's Scarface. That's kind of funny, but I can put that away. There we go. So yeah, um, what do you think? First, we continue. What do you think of the fights?
Okay, all the fights are great. I'm a little biased because the Zenitsu fight was really the icing on the cake. I really enjoy the animation, fighting styles. As much as I enjoy the Hashira fights, I think I do enjoy that Zenitsu fight more because he's kind of like the underdog of the series. You know, if you haven't seen the show, it basically imagine like a undertrained Rocky rising up to the challenge. For those who are into the show, it's basically you see this guy just struggling, you see him, and then he really rises up to the challenge. He really gets his retribution, and that's really was the emotional and that connection of the fight that really drew me into the film. The animation is just stunning, stunning. That was one thing. I saw this film back to back in the same night, and not once was I bored. Not once was my attention away from the screen. It is just a beautiful film to look at, especially the fighting scenes. You will not be disappointed.
Hmm. But yeah, so the first fight that we're introduced to is actually the Doma fight. He's actually one of the upper demons. He actually absorbs and eats blood of his victims like to become powerful. Actually, that's almost every demon, but he actually can absorb. So the Doma versus Shinobu fight, which was the insect girl we saw earlier. The little backstory. So Shinobu she's the insect Hashira. Basically, she can control poison. Her her specialty is poison and also insects. Right. Well, but backstory is her sister was a Hashira, but she gets killed by Doma, and now Shinobu sees Doma again in Infinity Castle, and they actually have a nice intense fight. Actually, yeah, here's the thing: a lot of people don't really talk about this fight. It's all about like what happened during this fight, about like the action pace. But before we continue, what actually happens during this fight? What are your thoughts on the Shinobu versus Doma fight? Sorry,
I'm,
Doma.
I'm ups- I'm upset. I loved it, but I don't know how to explain it. It's a fight that I love and hate at the same time so much. It is so entertaining. It is heartbreaking. Again, spoilers have been thrown out. It's I'm so disappointed in the outcome of the fight, but it truly is like a just a sequence in which you although if you know what's happening, you're dreading it, but I love it too because Shinobu is a smaller character, so for anyone who understands that struggle of like not being tall or anything, you really just see this character giving it her all, and it's something I just really appreciate.
But yeah. So what happens is she actually loses and she dies. Well, how she dies is actually kind of messed up. So Doma, so during this fight, um, she is the poison Hashira or insect Hashira. Her sword can actually have forms of poison. She tries to kill Doma with multiple phases of poison, but she fails. But what I like about Shinobu, she even though she loses and dies, she doesn't stop trying. She doesn't cower. She just fights on. That's why I respect her. Now here's the thing: my wife loves Shinobu, and when she died, I am not going to say, but let's just say after we got home, that's behind the scenes went up. But yeah, like no, it kind of sucks how she dies, but the fact that she still fights on, knowing that it's a lost cause, that even her own sister tried to kind of subliminally warn her, don't try to fight this demon because you could lose because she is short. Um, but again, I read the manga. I'm not gonna spoil what happens in because you will see Doma again in the second film. But I'm not gonna say what happens or who fights him. Well, it kind of just tells you who kind of fight, but I won't say who alongside with the character fights Doma because Doma actually affected one another main character in this film. I'm not gonna spoil. It's in the manga. You want to find out? Read the manga. But going back to the fight with Kanao, going to fight with Shinobu versus Doma. Yeah, Shinobu loses. She like Doma cuts off her vital organs, like and then injured. She gives her a bear hug and crushes her to death. Absorbs her, so that's kind of also messed up. So she doesn't even get a proper burial. He's inside his body, so and we see Kanao, which is Shinobu's apprentice, finding out her master just died, messed up in a messed up way, and then we see that's the tease of this next film. So Kanao versus Doma. Now can Kanao avenge Doma, Shinobu and her master's sister? We shall see, but there is a character that will join her that will fight Doma, and this is also very personal to this character. I won't spoil who it is. You don't want to find out. You want to find out? Go read the manga. But yeah. Anyway, so final thoughts on this battle. Let's actually rate. Let's rate this battle. This battle between Shinobu versus Doma. Let's rate it. Let's go. First thoughts, James. Like final thoughts on this battle.
Okay, so emotionally taking that into account, I would say this really strikes high quality of animation. The fight too is very intense. Like you, although Shinobu does lose, she you definitely feel that she put in her all. There's everyone takes a couple blows. I really out of all three fights, although I'm biased, I will still give this fight like at least out of 10. I would give it an 8 just from the quality of the animations too. Especially you see more of her insect style of breathing because each breathing form kind of has like a different display of power, prowess, animation. So you really get to see more because in the show you only see like little glimpse. And this one she's giving her all. So I really just think it deserves all the praise it's getting. I think it gives a strong 8 in my eyes.
I will also rate it 8. Now it sucks that she does that, and this battle is actually short. To be honest, it's actually a short battle, but it's the most hard. Okay, I watch a lot of Demon Slayer episodes. Of course, Mugen Train when Rengoku dies. That extra was heartbreaking for him because he lost. This I compared to the Rengoku battle, but oh my gosh, this scene, like the fact that her body gets absorbed by him, you can't even see a proper burial. Her friends can't even see her body. Like Tanjiro couldn't even see her body. Like all of his Hashirans can see her. At least for Rengoku, they saw the body. He got a proper burial. This one, no. So this is kind of sad and messed up. I'll say it's one of the most gut wrenching deaths in Demon Slayer. I'll say this actually hurts more than Rengoku's death for me, especially to my wife because she loves Shinobu. So I'm not gonna say, um, but but I'll just say this. Wait till the next round 2 versus Kanao versus Shinobu. So I'll rate it 8. So that's the battle. During the movie, you also see some of the Demon Slayer members, not the main characters, the actual other characters, giving it their all. They're killing some of the demons. Let me ask you this: what was your thoughts on you actually? Because you actually watch a TV series. Some of the demons you don't see a lot of Demon Slayer corpse fighting some of the demons. We see some, but not all of them. But I'm glad this movie shows like some of the characters, like let's say the C listers, the D listers, giving it their all, showing that um they're not just like what's the term I'm asking for? They're not liability. They're actually giving their best. What are your thoughts on like these other Demon Slayer corps actually fighting these demons and trying to like help the Hashira and the main characters try to find Muzan?
I really appreciate how they show that they're not cannon fodder, that they actually know how to fight, that they're Demon Slayer members for a reason. So it's really funny too because in one of the later scenes, you actually see another member of like the lower rank, like Demon Slayer Corps member, using a breathing style, but unlike the main characters, that shows like all the pizzazz and like the cool special effects. It what you see from them from the outside perspective is just the slashing movement, and it looks kind of funny because it's basically just a character doing a somersault. I really enjoy that. It shows a lot of teamwork, so it's not just like while the main characters are fighting and you assuming that everyone else is dying. Everyone truly is working together as a team. They're giving it their all. They actually do a really good number against some of the other enemies. Like there's some big baddies that aren't upper rank that are just huge, humongous demons, and you see these corp members just fighting their all. It's really interesting too because it makes it all much harder to when you realize that Infinity Castle as as a kind of like the last arc of like the whole series because it's going to be again a trilogy that you know a lot of people are going to unfortunately pass and die, but it's really good that the movie opens up with just showing that everybody's giving their all even though against tremendous odds. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, especially the kids with the crows. Psst. So that's still cool though. Like what he did, like the yeah. Actually, there's now a meme. Like you want to look for somebody, just get the thing and like and start drawing. But anyway, now we go to the second main fight. It's just Zenitsu versus his partner. Well, not partner, but like so. You guys don't know, Zenitsu is a thunder breeding. He's a thunder breeding demon slayer, and he has I forgot the name. What's the name of his the one his rival?
His name, oh shoot, I have a hard time pronouncing it.
Yeah, I have a hard. It's starts with a K. Even
Yeah. Let's see.
I'm actually looking for a name now. Thank God.
All right.
What's his name? It's Karu. What is it? Hey, viewers, you can help out because it is what is his name? It's Karu something. Is it? Oh, Kaigaku. Yeah, Kaigaku. So you guys don't know Kaigaku is actually a former Demon Slayer member that basically is kind of selfish. He's kind of a prick. He's very harshful to Zenitsu and all his fellow Demon Slayer Corp. He sacrificed basically his humanity for selfish needs to become powerful to um, one of Musa's upper demons and becomes a demon himself, but he actually becomes powerful enough to become an upper demon. And then we find it because Zenitsu's grandpa was the one who trained them. But when Zenitsu's grandpa finds out he becomes a demon, then he yes, Zenitsu's grandpa commits seppuku. Now I understand like there's a lot of people like questioning why he did it. You gotta understand like back then during that time in Japan, like if something would if there's like something with dishonor, like you guys really don't know what seppuku is. Seppuku is basically like an act of taking your own life with the sword by stabbing. I think it's in the belly or is it in like the heart? It was in the belly, right?
I believe it's in the belly.
Yeah. So basically, um, it is done if something dishonorable happened or an act of sacrifice. But again, I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but it's a form of taking your own life. It's kind of sad because Zenitsu's grandpa, Zenitsu itself, you watch the series, he was a whip. He was a crybaby. He didn't know how to fight. He's a lazy man, but he didn't fight. But he finds out in season 4 that his grandpa does pass. He gets a letter, and he does commit seppuku because of his name again. But she's Kaigaku made become a demon. So, what are your thoughts on Kai? Because we did see him again in the series. I guess we don't notice it. What are your thoughts on Kaigaku becoming a demon and his grandfather and Zenitsu's grandfather? Unfortunately, like tragedy.
So I never quickly grew to hate a character so much throughout the later half of the series, and then it was kind of like cemented in the movie because this character is a menace. you see a little bit, and there's mentions of him in like the later half of the series of this character, and even before becoming a demon, he shows such neglectful and kind of like selfish tendencies, and then it's like no surprise that like at the first opportunity he just becomes a demon, and not just like even like a good demon on his own. He becomes kind of like shoehorned in because Muzan needs the muscle. So literally, when you see the confrontation between Zenitsu and this other character who their connection is that they share kind of like a kinship. They're both successors of this breathing style, which is the thunder style. So they're supposed to be brothers in arms, but in reality, although Zenitsu's kind of just like as you mentioned, he starts off kind of like not the bravest character. He's a little bit of a wimp. He gets scared easily, but he always shows up when the situation calls for it, compared to his other half, which is like this just terrible person who always just does what best benefits him. So seeing that confrontation between them two, and the cruel fate of their master slash like basically their fatherly grandfatherly figure, it really sets the stage to one of the most just emotionally driven. Like if you're sad, you're crying over the grandfather Zenitsu, but if you just hate this character, you're really just gonna enjoy this fight, because you throughout this whole time you're just seeing like this he gets what's coming from. That's all I say.
Yeah, so they do. So Zenitsu finds Kaigaku. They do fight. I'm gonna be honest. It's kind of a short fight. I wish it was longer. In my opinion, I wish it was a longer fight. Even Shinobu, I think Shinobu's fight was longer with Doma, but I wish it was long. I do wish it was, but it does the job done. And you can see Zenitsu itself is actually a powerful character. The fact that I wish he did more of this. Well, he kind of does this in season 3, but he's actually half asleep, sleeping. So we don't know he's actually when he sleeps, he actually gets his full power because now he's not become a wimp. But dang, this is just Zenitsu, like not even a Hashira. Like this is just him being that powerful. So he could become a Hashira maybe in the future. Let's see what happens in the final battle, the actually third part. But again, the battle between Zenitsu and Kaigaku. Oh my gosh, animation splendid again. The actual motion, the emotion of this fight, because it's basically two. You can say they were kind of like brothers. Like it's done a lot of anime films, like or anime series, like two brotherly siblings or two brothers in arms. They fight because of a misunderstanding or because of their goals not aligning, and one becomes evil, one becomes good. It's been done a lot in anime, but for this one, it does hurt because it's the grandpa. The grandpa wanted to give his his lessons and his training to these two future candidates. But my only criticism with the grandpa, he favors Zenitsu more. Of course, he does his grandson, but I feel like he did not treat Kaigaku with much love. I think he maybe treated him with love, much love with Zenitsu equal. Yeah, maybe this one not happen. But again, jealousy does suck. It's a human nature. Jealousy does suck. No matter how, there's always jealousy. So it's a good lesson. Jealousy is there. Um, but going back to the battle sequences, like keep it short. Zenitsu wins, but he's heavily damaged. He's heavily injured because Kaigaku is the upper demon. So the fact that Zenitsu was able to hold on his own and beat this guy is a huge feat. But here's the thing: it kind of sucks too that like you guys don't know Zenitsu actually is saved by another demon, but actually it's a good demon. There's actually in season 1 there's introduced this demon, this demoness that actually is she's a medicine healer. I forgot her name. What was her name? That medicine. You remember, James?
No, I don't remember her name. Shoot.
I
Let's
think
see.
was it Seki? Her name was Seki, right? No, I think it was Seki.
I think
I forgot her name, but like, yeah. Here's the thing: a lot of characters from season 1 show up again in this, to the point that like, oh, you kind of forgot their names. Also, I do remember this guy's name. So the guy's name that saves his name is Yoshiro. Yoshiro is actually the apprentice of um of the medicine demon that actually tries to stop Muzan. Oh, sorry. I remember her name. Tamayo. Lady Tamayo. There you go. Lady Tamayo. I remember. Lady Tamayo. So Lady Tamayo is a medicine demon that knows a weakness for Muzan and actually does help find a cure. Maybe help find a cure for Nezuko's. It actually show. Oh, before we could. Yeah. So we'll continue. So yeah, the battle still happens. Zenitsu wins. He uses a special technique he does himself called thunder breathing. Seventh form. It's a dragon. Basically, he becomes a lightning dragon. That's his kind of badass. So he beats Kaigaku, and but Yushiro tells him like when he wakes up from his coma. Well, before we go to the coma, actually, let's pause. Thoughts on that sequence itself, from the battle to the final, the lightning breathing that Zenitsu makes. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm gonna give you the same response that someone next to me gave to me during that whole scene, which was basically chills. It is a short fight. It is incredibly short, but it does display that raw power that Zenitsu's been like holding back. That's been, utilized because of the tension in the scene, the fight between his, we'll just say like brother in arm. Um, when you see Zenitsu's special move, kind of like because although they share like the same breathing style, he's only restricted to one form of it, while his brother could use the other six forms. So when you see this, other five forms. So when you see Zenitsu unleash the new seventh form, it literally shows, in my opinion, the best animation of the film, because it's just the whole screen, the whole environment turns to like this thundery of just a flurry. It is the most spectacular scene in the film, in my opinion. I think literally in both times I saw it, people next to me were shaking, cheering. It is such an emotional scene. So in this move, Zenitsu instantly just cuts the head off of his brother. They're about to fall to assuming to their death. And again, Zenitsu is saved by a friendly demon that we encountered from season one. And it's just a delivery of just emotions. You finally get to see the end of this rivalry, and you get that nice closure between Zenitsu and kind of like he kind of goes back in like a vision, or like in a like a near kind of like a defeat. Right, he's gravely injured. Um, you see him in the state where he's ready to accept his fate. He sees his grandfather again, and it's just a beautiful scene, uh, where it shows that deep connection of after the hate, after the violence between him and his brother. There is that resolution between his character, who he was, and with his grandfather, and it's a nice conclusion to his whole character arc.
Yeah, you guys know this is a nice conclusion because in the first four seasons, Zenitsu is a wimp. Like he's a crybaby. The only way he becomes powerful, he goes to sleep. Basically, like a like a Jiggly. That's another anime. Not gonna talk about that anyway, or a series. But so yeah, like, but before after he kills Kaigaku, beats in battle, we see of course Zenitsu is almost dying. He's injured, so we see him in the brink of death, and then we see the scene where he's in like a crossroads in heaven and earth. He sees his grandpa's spirit. Now, a lot of people don't get. So he's in this plane, this beautiful flower plane, right? But you see Zenitsu's trying to go reach his grandpa, but the grass is telling him, like holding him back. Basically, it's a symbolism, for people who are religious. That symbolism basically like his his grandpa didn't need to say it, but his grandpa's telling him no, it's not your time yet. It's not your time yet. You stay. You still have to do in your life, right? But what God, I'll be honest. So, me personally, did affect me. Because you guys know, of course, my dad passed away 3 years ago. So Zenitsu's grandpa, of course, that was like his father. Like when Zenitsu's grandpa told him, "I'm proud of you," that was the final. That was the final. Like, what do I say? That gave Zenitsu redemption because Zenitsu, um, he felt he was useless to his grandpa, but he didn't know that his grandpa was proud of him. Of course, his grandpa's watching. He watched that fight, and like spirit, like he's a spirit. The fact that he used a new breeding technique, all he was practicing. We didn't know he was practicing this whole series, a new technique. So of course, his grandpa was proud, and then, of course his grandpa legit telling him like, "No, not your time yet. You have a life. Your life is still young." So that of course hit me personally because of course I was close with my dad. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to see my dad when he passed away. It was too late. But so that's why me personally, that was I actually did cry in that scene because I was thinking of my dad, like knowing my dad. I hope he was proud of me. So yeah. But that is a fight with Zenitsu. Very, very. Um, it was a very. I can say a lot. Very. It was a well done fight, and I was satisfied. So kudos to the animators, and Zenitsu's arc is finally done, full circle. That's not done yet, but his arc, he's no longer the wimpy kid. Now he became a man. So there you go. Oh, thoughts on that that scene with the grandpa?
I The fight sequence is fine.
But the dream
I
sequence, yeah.
I say the whole scene, just on an emotional level, deserves a very good score of another eight. The emotional state, kind of the emotional part of it takes over the fighting animation, although it's the most beautiful in my opinion. Of just as much as it's short, I really enjoy that. It made me cry too. I'm going to be honest with you. Both times it made me cry because it really does struck you in the heart if you are connected with like a loved one, a fatherly figure, a grandfatherly figure. Um, I really enjoyed it both times. I was a mess afterwards. It took me a while to get back into the movie because I was just so emotionally distraught. Um, I give the whole sequence a strong 8 out of 10. It is a part of the movie that I still think about heavily compared to the rest of it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Same. I actually am going to give it a little. I know I just said it was amazing, but I am going to give it a little. Actually, no. I'm going to give it like a. I'm also going to give it like a. Actually, going to give it a 7. The reason why I give it a 7, I wish it was longer because it deserves to be longer. It deserves to be longer. I wish it was longer because I give it a 7 because I'll be honest. The only thing that got me that emotionally invested was the grandfather. I wish we got to see more scenes with the grandfather, even in the series itself. But here's the thing: we only saw him once, and that was like season 1. It was a flashback. Kaigaku, I didn't really realize that was his brother in arms until now, but we kind of saw him in like the past few seasons. Oh shit, we didn't really know, but that's why I felt it was a little rush. Like oh wait, so now we're this new guy. What the heck? Okay, I felt it was rushed. Trying to to cram in. I wish it was done more in the previous season so we can feel more of an emotional bond. But me personally, the only thing, the reason why I give it a 7 is the final scene of the dream sequence because that was perfect. Like, of course, it deals with a lot of kids who lost their fathers, who had a close bond with their fathers. Maybe they didn't like. Were they already proud of me? Like, of course, there's some people that did not see their father passed away or didn't see their last goodbyes. So that was that. Because me personally, again, like I said, I did not see my dad when he passed away. I did see him before the day he passed away, but I was able to say I love you. I was able to say like goodbye. It was just like sudden. The only thing that gave me like no regret because when we talked to his nurse, he said that he was proud of me. That's the only yeah. But that's going back comparing to my story with Zenitsu's story. The fact that his grandpa told him in spirit, like his actual spirit's like, "Oh, I'm proud of you." That takes all the regret, all the conscience in his life. So that's why now he can live life happily, knowing his He's still gonna say it, but his grandpa was proud of him. So he no longer has a conscience in his brain, his spirit. So he's now free. So I give it a 7 out of 10. One because I wish it was longer. They kind of shortened in and rushed the emotion between the two brothers' arms. I wish we got to know more of Gaikaku better in the previous seasons, or But again, that's just my little nitpick. But I give it a 7 out of 10. Now we go to the main battle, which is what I spent my money on because of Johnny on Bosch, Black Ranger. Speaking of which, hold up. Speaking of which, Never mind, I can't find him. He's the only actor. That's too messy. But oh wait.
I think you found it.
That was not Johnny, but you guys don't know. There you go. That's the goat. He's the goat. He's also Ichigo. Okay, it's this Walter's figure, but I have Johnny's back there. But even though he's the goat. Anyway, going back to what I said. Whoo! Akaza versus Giyu and Tanjiro. One of the most. I actually almost got a panic attack watching this. You know why? Because my heart was pumping like shoot. I don't know if it's curse. My heart was pumping to the max. I was like, oh, and like, damn, the animation. I swear to God, if I did not read the manga, I would be having anxiety. But I think I did read the manga, so I kind of. But even though the animation, the fight sequence, you guys don't know the lion guy saw earlier. Akaza is also one of the upper demons. Actually, one of the most powerful because he actually fits. He does karate or judo or any other fighting style. Oh my gosh. He's the one that killed Rengoku. A lot of people hate him for doing that. Also, people love him because he's badass. But I'll just get this story short. So, Akaza, Rengoku versus Tanjiro. The battle was the longest. It took half of the movie. Like, I think the last 40 minutes of the movie. Like, dang. I was like, holy shoot. First off, before I continue, what are your thoughts on this final battle in this year?
I felt like it was an entire movie by itself. That's
Yeah.
how long it felt. It felt like they just stopped after Zenitsu, and I was like, we're gonna start another film with just Tanjiro and Akaza and Ginyu because it felt like when I knew the runtime, I was like, it's 2 hours and a half. I'm like, it already feels like we've been here for a while, and then the entire sequence, the fighting, the dialogue, the flashback. Oh god, the flashbacks. It felt like the film was like almost 4 hours, and
Mm-hmm.
it is a great film. No, do not get me wrong. It's just it does go long. That I feel that they were like with the Zenitsu fight. It's like, oh yeah, no, his character art is fun. Oh, his character art's done. All right, let's get on to the main fight with Akaza and Tanjiro, and let's get this started because that's what it definitely felt like. You could definitely tell they wanted to get this fight the limelight, and you could definitely tell that they put their best animation, their best everything into this fight. They just wanted to get the other stuff out of the way. Not to say the other stuff wasn't good. It's just this part of the film you could definitely tell was like this is what people came here to see. Everything else is nice. This is the main part of the film. That's 100%.
Yes. Also, I think half the budget went in this final 15 minutes. So I don't think that's why I think. So I don't know. But anyway, so this final bite fight. We had drama, emotion, redemption, tragedy, heartbreak into one final battle. First off, Gyu, Gyu, who basically aka John Young Bosch, the anime goat of all he's anime goat, just because he's a Power Ranger. So anyway, so John Young Bosch, I had to give my, I love him as Ichigo. He did a really good job with this final sequence. Game on, I watched, I did watch both the dub and the sub. There's a reason why I watched the English version first. It's because, of course, I had to support Johnny. Johnny Bosch he is one of my heroes. He's a great voice actor. Also, he's one of me. He was a Power Ranger. I love Power Rangers. Yeah. Also, again, because Channing Tatum is in it. I had here Channing Tatum. I'm like, oh, what? Channing Tatum's in an anime movie? Oh, you're getting my money. I love Channing Tatum, and he does. They both do a great job. Like, oh my god, you guys don't know Channing Tatum is. If you guys don't, again, you're Channing Tatum is a lot. He's in a lot. I thought he was just a cameo. He's in a lot in this movie. But continuing with the story. So the final battle happens when Giyu and Tanjiro, because Giyu is also he's a water hosher, and Tanjiro is a water breeding demon slayer. But technically, he actually has a son. He can also use sun breeding. Actually, is used by by his daddy and his grandpapa. So Tanjiro and Gyo they find Akaza, and for Tanjiro it is personal because Tanjiro because Akaza killed Rengoku. Tanjiro wanted him to teach him fire, or but that's related to anything that's fire. So to Tanjiro, this is personal. So of course, but Tanjiro's not that strong yet, and you see Gyu going full out Dragon Ball, Water, Power Ranger. I'm not gonna explain, but he went full out to the point like, damn, you thought Rengoku was badass, dude. Gyu was bad because he went. You gotta understand, Gyu. We barely see Gyu after season one. That's it. That's it. The fact that we see Gyu in his full on form is redemption. Like, oh damn, this guy, and the fact that his fight sequences are so badass. Endless water breathing. Like, dude, like he's already tired, but he's still fighting. That's why even Aka's like, dude, his spirit is what's wrong with this guy? This guy's he still has fighting spirit. Now, speaking of fighting spirit, now we find out Akaza's main power. That's the reason why these Hashiras and Demons can't kill him because of he can sense fighting spirit, and the only way to stop him is to try to take away the fighting spirit. And we find out that Tanjiro's dad actually did teach him that when he was younger, because there's a sequence where there's a flashback where the dad's the dad's village was being terrorized by a bear, and Tanjiro's dad kills it using what you call it, going to another dimension, like not like closing your mind, not closing your He uses it goes in our like state of mind to kill the bear, and Tanjiro used it to help kill Akaza. So before we continue, what are your thoughts on this whole battle sequence itself? Yeah, let's talk about the dad first. The battle sequence itself, Gyo versus Akaza.
I really felt Gio spoke for all of us, especially those who are getting a little bit older, because the way how he activates his mark, by the way, is what the Demon Slayers have to activate like their full potential. The way how he activates it is unlike the other ones who unlock it through like a spiritual means, an emotional means, like a loved one passes or they remember something. He activates his because he has back pain from the fight, and to me that told me that, oh, this is serious. This is gonna be so much fun, and 100% the fight. It feels like an hour long fight. It probably is not, but you definitely get that intensity. Gio brings his A game. You see a little bit that he's OP in season one of the show, a little bit throughout the show because he kind of takes a lesser role, kind of like a secondary character, a little bit of like a mentor to Tanjiro, and to see them fight side by side is just so satisfactory because you finally see Tanjiro reach that same level with Gio, and Gio realizes that, oh man, it's not the same little boy that I helped out in the wintry forest area. It really feels like they respect each other, they reached each other's same level, and Gyu's fight, he's the reason why that like I was like I have to see this twice. It's so good not to see it more than once. It's such a good, great fighting scene, especially because Gyu uses a Gyu and Tanjiro do use the same breathing style, but you could definitely tell that Gyu uses his more differently, while Tanjiro kind of uses whatever is like whatever he has up in his arsenal. Gyu is like cold. He's calculated. He uses everything with precision, and the same thing with Akaza. So you really see these two characters. They're fighting with like the so much precision, especially because the villain demon has a special move that detects that fighting spirit. So these two are just locked in, and Tanjiro is really kind of just in awe while trying to catch up. You, this fighting scene proves that he is the best. He is the goat Hashira, especially English voice actor. I'm such a big fan. And I do want to mention. I know you asked me just to talk about the fight scene, but can I just say that Janet Tatum's role in the English dub surprised me so much because when they announced it, I was like, oh, okay, all right. I wonder if I'm going to even notice because there's probably going to be a lot going on in the film. And when they introduce his character later on in the fight sequence, I was like, he does such a good job. Like the bro really proves that he deserves to be in this film. Both voice actors do such a great job. I really enjoy the English dub. The fighting is just top notch.
Same. I loved it. I loved it. I kind of explained already, but going to keep it short. It was perfect because it was toe to toe. Like you can't tell a fair winner. Like the fact that Akaza almost killed Gil with the same move he killed Rengoku, but credits to Tanjiro, he learned from his lesson. He learned why he didn't was able to save him, but he learned from the past mistakes. He was able to save Kaza by cutting his head off. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. It just proves that cutting off a head of a demon doesn't always kill him if they're that powerful. Because when they kill the head, when they take off the head, he's still alive. Technically, he's dying, but he's holding. It's just Akaza's will to live was strong. But this is where now we go to the backstory. Here's the thing: a lot of people are complaining about the backstory. I don't know. For me, for me, it was perfect. Now, I can see why the complaints are from. Why people are complaining about this scene. Here's the thing: I see online a lot of people are loving it, but they complain about it because I think there's a reason why they're complaining about it. Well, it kind of shows, but like I'll explain the scene. So when Akaza gets his head's cut off, we see his backstory. He was actually a commoner that tried to steal money from commoners back then in old Japan because his dad was sick. So he was a caregiver, and the only way to help pay for medicine, maybe food, was to steal from commoners. But he would get captured. He would actually get beaten up by the police or like the authorities there. But he doesn't care because the pain is there. Like his main goal is to help his dad. But fortunately, his dad commits suicide by takes life by hanging because he's ashamed that his son became a criminal. Again, back then, that time in Japan, of course, even back then, like you're ashamed because your son becomes not. But here's the thing: Akaza didn't do it for himself. He did it for his dad. He did it for helping people because he had a good heart. It's just it was misunderstood. So Akaza's dad did send him a letter telling him live your life to the fullest because yeah. So Akaza does get saved because he gets in trouble again. He gets saved by Channing Tatum's master, which is Master Soryu. And oh my gosh, I'll be honest, I prefer this version than the Japanese stuff because I compared to like, dude, Channing Tatum kills him. Not being a Channing, he kills him. This is a for once. I'm telling you, the dub could be better than the Jap. I'm just saying this, but so he saves Akaza and then he trains him to do Soryu style, which is actually karate or mixed karate with judo. I can see a little judo in there, even with a little aikido. So I used to teach aikido. I can see a little bit of that. Of course, karate. And of course, his Master Soryu, tells Akaza to take care of his sickly daughter, which is where it is where actually I love this scene where he takes care of the daughter because the daughter who's actually the daughter who's Master Soryu's what's her name again? Oh, sorry, it's Koyuki. Sorry, no, Koyuki. So Koyuki is sickly, and basically Akaza takes care of her, but she's very sticky, so they thought she's gonna die. But due to Akaza's helping, like treat her, helping like take care of her, she gets better, and they fell in love. Well, my favorite scene is like Koyuki promised he'll take Akaza to see fireworks, and because she wants to do that, and she did see fireworks. And what's funny is she wants to get married with him because like it's fun. This is what is very rare. Your father. This is where keep in mind for people who want to get married. Of course, you have with the father-in-law. This is the first time I see a father-in-law in like animation like loves his future son-in-law and tells actual his future son-in-law, "Hey, my daughter likes you." And I love it. It's like, oh shoot, I like my daughter likes you. And they're like, what? She loves you. And then I love that scene because the fact that Akaza found a family again. He found a second father figure, and found a wife that could support him. That's of course this is Demon Slayer. Tragedy happened because you guys don't know. Soryu actually had a lot of enemy, rival, jealousy, enemy again, jealousy that poisons the water and kills Soryu, and also unfortunately Koyuki. So this is where Akaza becomes very. This really becomes a villain. This starts his villain arc. It kills a lot. He kills the 67 samurais and becomes evil because he wants to get more powerful. And that's where Muzan gives him his blood, become an upper rank demon. So that's why people see demon. Thoughts on that backstory, James?
I first off want to say this character is two things that I want to express out. I've never seen a character that he's too angry to die, and he loves his wife, he loves his secondary family so much that basically as a demon he inherits the wife's kind of like, she has like a hairpin, she has like something on her hairpiece that's just very that he incorporates into his fighting style. I think he calls it the needle compass. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel when they explain that backstory of his sensei, of this, you see the secondary family because again, as you mentioned, he messed up with with like his father because he had to resort to a life of a thief. And even as like a young child, we see that he shows no regrets because he believes at the end of the day, this character believes he's doing the right thing as a human all the way to a demon. He feels that he's doing what he needs to do uh, because he's ultimately a caretaker. We see him take care of his father until the very end. We see him take over eventually the dojo, care for the his sensei's daughter. He's very much such a loving character that when he's wronged, he goes out of his way to do what he feels is right. And unfortunately, what he feels is right is just to pummel everyone with his fists who have wronged him or his loved ones. And I do admit that that whole backstory, it did feel like it kind of not dragged on, but I feel the pacing or how it was sequenced may have triggered this like dialogue fatigue, or kind of like this just because we see this intense fighting scene and then this back scene with explaining his backstory, who this character is more. Um, I can understand why some people feel that maybe they could have displayed it differently or paced it differently. I personally really liked it, especially the English stuff, because again, Channing Tatum took the entire scene for me, especially when he because we see a lot of dialogue with this sensei. He adopts, definitely molds this character to be who he is, not just his fighting style. Just you see a lot of trust and commodity right away from this character. They're the only characters that treat him with family and respect, and it's such a shame when ultimately that it's all taken away from him. It really builds such a strong backstory for this character. I'm really glad that they did decide to show everything, because you it really does hurt you more to see this character ultimately pass, and it hurts you more to see that he does get his redemption in his way, but um, it's just bittersweet because I feel if the other ways were turned around, this character definitely might have would have joined the Demon Corp in maybe a different universe or a different way, because he's pure of heart. It's just this character itself was just put in the worst circumstances, especially when he ran into Muzan, aka Michael Jackson.
But yeah, my thoughts on this. It's very relatable because I do have someone I know that relates to this. I'm not gonna say who for privacy's sake. That they see that um that their father-in-law and their partner is actually just their second family. Yeah, I know someone that is like that. But also, oh shoot, this is actually relatable because a lot of like people, especially my close friend, um, they see that their father-in-law and their parents-in-law, their that's their family because let's say like they're originally was not keen or not close or did not treat them right. So that's why I see this. I see this like the fact that he sees Soryu as his actual second father, and then yeah, so it's very relatable. It is tragic. I actually did cry, because like oh shoot, like he was so happy and like oh, and it's I. So what's funny is people were like oh he kills like oh I was like no, to be honest, when he killed the 67, I was like it's like go, like screw them all. I was like yeah go. I was like do it. I'm being serious like nah you kill my family or like no you kill no. I get it, but I get it. I see. I know it's wrong, but dude, you took away his whole life. So I get it. Maybe done by justice, but in the end, But still, pacing wise, yeah, it did drag, but I was entertained. I was into it. It kind of felt another movie was happening. That's I think that's what the complaint. I feel like my personal opinion, maybe when they had the fight with Giyu, put some scenes during mid battle of him. Maybe you could do that. Maybe that would have been better pacing. The battle between Tanjiro, yeah, like split it like this, that. Maybe that's why. Because they explained the whole backstory after his head's cut off. Maybe that's what pacing wise. So movie could have fish. But again, I liked it. I'm not gonna. My review of this fight is not gonna be affected by the backstory because I'm talking about the fight itself. Actually, no. I'm gonna. I'm gonna. No, I actually did with Zenitsu. No, I'm not gonna continue it. But before, yeah, it was sad. But we find out later that after he gets killed, his head gets caught up by Tanjiro. He sees his wife again in heaven, and his master and his dad. What really made me cry when he said "Welcome home." Like "Welcome home." I was like, a Chinese welcome was like, ah, shoot. I actually started crying again. But here's the sad. It's bittersweet because he can't go to heaven. He killed a lot of people, so he has to go to hell. But what was sad? Well, even Soryu said like, yeah, unfortunately, you won't be able to enter heaven, but our hearts are still with you. We still love you. But here's the thing: his wife went to hell with him, so he's not alone. And you see the fire, the symbolism, like yeah. So when he hugs Soryu again, I mean, so Kyoko, I forget him, his wife or fiance there, and he created redemption arc, and that's what happens. That's not now. Before we do our final thoughts on this movie, what is your rating for this battle?
Okay, so if I were to take the entire fight with the backstory, like my other two views of the other two fights, I unfortunately would give this maybe a 7 at most. Only
That
because I feel how I'm one of the ones that are in the latter two that as much as I appreciate all the backstory and that emotional connection with the character and his fighting spirit to the very end, I feel they should have maybe place some of the backstory. They should have distributed it more evenly throughout the film. It's nothing on the film or the series itself. I just feel the pacing could have been placed more um, efficiently, more easy to digest for some viewers. I will say, um, like you mentioned when they said you're home to the character to the upper rank three demon, that did make me cry. I cried so much during this film. I want to let people know that this film is very emotional. It is, even if you're not the biggest fan, if you just have the slides to be able to show the series is, this film does such a great job of pulling your heartstrings. Um, it really establishes character has such a great bond with his wife, and to see that his wife was truly a ride and die character who went to the afterlife, went to their version of hell with him, while the other family members in the afterlife of heaven are saying like, we love you, we accept you, but unfortunately we can't reunite with you at the moment. I think the fight itself, like the first half of it, because I think the fight is best explained as like a part one and a part two, because it's such a huge sequence, such a huge fight scene where you see Giyu Tanjiro versus this demon, and then the second part would be right after he gets beheaded, because he's so willing to carry on that even after the traditional means of dying off as a demon, he just continues to fight through. He continues to push the characters to the limit where everyone's basically dying, they're near death, and he just keeps going all the way to like there's a point where as an audience member you feel um that like, are we gonna see like another like full on fight scene between these two, because the character seems like he's going to regenerate, like fully regenerate, and there's signs of it. And then as you're watching this, you're thinking like, oh man, this is going to be another intense 40 minutes fight scene. How are these characters going to do it? It builds this sense of anxiety because if you haven't read the manga, you're feeling like, oh, how's Tanjiro, how's Giyu going to get out of this? Because they look badly, injured, and this demon is coming back to nearly full health. And how they deliver his send off is so well done. It's unique in its way because it shows that um, at the end of the day, these demons, although they are shown as the antagonists outside of Muzan, they also have a will of their own. So he, at the very end, this character redeems himself by accepting his memories, who he was, and he also has the willpower to move on and take himself out, so that the other characters, the heroes, could carry on in their journey. So I think I will rate this overall fight a 7 out of 10. Um, just the only reason it's a 7, just because of the pacing, the backstory, how it feels like we get a fight, then just this huge chunk of just continuous dialogue, backstory, and then we get another kind of like semi fight scene going on, leading on to another dialogue piece. I think it's well done. I just think I hope for the future installments they maybe figure out a way to evenly distribute the backstory to character ratio.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to give it a little higher score, but not too high. I liked the fight, even backstory. Like I had to agree with you, the pacing was kind of off. I did drag, but I did appreciate it for what it is. I'll give it an 8 out of 10 for the fight alone, but it's a low 8. It's like between like a 79.95. If it's like a score. The fight itself. Backstory I'll give it a 10, but it's just if it was paced out better, like the reason why I gave Zenitsu was a 7 because I wish it was explored more. We just like it was crammed here. This one, it was too much. It was too much. You could, yeah, it was too much, too much. But I don't complaints. I'll give it an 8, a low 8 out of 10. Now, of course, okay, of course. Now we do our final thoughts. We do see in the final scene that Muzan is hiding, trying to regenerate because Leitamai gives the poison to help weaken him. But the Vinny Castle is growing and we stopping. So we have a cliffhanger for part 2 is gonna happen. So this ends the movie. You see Tanjiro and Kyo collapse because they're tired. They fought their all. And you see, of course, the other Hashira, Gyome, Mitsuri, sorry, Gyome, and then Miss Hashira, I forgot his name again, and then Mitsuri, the Snake Hashira, the Wind Hashira, giving their all. Now people, and of course we didn't even talk about Inosuke, but here's the thing, Inosuke's movie is in the next film. It'll be focused on him. That's a little hint for you guys. You want to know Inosuke will be showing up in the next film. That's all I'm telling you. Okay, so final thoughts in the film, James. Final rant, final score of the film. I'll wait for you, and I'll give mine.
Okay, so let's see. I think overall the film does a really good job for the fans, for the hardcore fans. I think it does drag. It definitely feels it carries on for certain scenes too long. I still ultimately believe it is a great watch. It is definitely also a popcorn flick. If you're not too much into the emotional investment into these characters, you're still gonna have fun with it. Like I went with a group of people, and half of us were just invested in the story and the characters, and the other half weren't really fans of the show. And they're like, "Ooh, cool fight scenes! All this looks awesome. There's lightning, there's water, there's all this stuff." I think the film deserves a very strong. I don't want to give it a lower score than previously mentioned because I think it's a really good film. I feel as a series film, it does a great job. Even if it wasn't a series film, if it was like a standalone, a different, just its own thing, I still think the film does a great job. I think I'll do it fair. I'll give it like a 7.8 or 7.5 because I feel it does reach that 8 level on most aspects, but it's just the pacing at the end of the day. It's the fact that we get too much of characters' explanation and backstory for certain scenes, and then they also exclude a lot of potential backstory for other characters. Like you mentioned too, Zenitsu um, could have used a little bit more scenes. I know in the series itself, in the manga, it's originally it's still a quick battle, it's still a quick sequence, but I feel they could have maybe added something new, maybe something to really like embellish it, make it longer, more satisfaction. Because the people who want to see this movie, they understand that these three films, because again it's part of a trilogy, are going to see some of the best parts of this series. They are saving the best for last. You really get a good chunk of that in the first film alone. You get that need that even if you know it's a part one out of three, it is so satisfying to watch. You see a lot of characters have their redemption arc. Unfortunately, Shinobu does become essentially a happy meal for Doma, but it's um, but it is such a good movie, entertaining movie to watch. I have been recommending this to everybody, despite my score not being that high, not reaching exactly that 8. I still think it's a great watch. It's definitely something that I'm probably going to go watch again and again in the theaters at least a couple more times, and then of course binge it to death on whatever streaming platform, Crunchyroll, DVD, Blu-ray. Um, I really just enjoyed. I advertise it so heavily. I'll go ahead and give it a solid 7.8 out of 10.
So for me, I'm gonna keep it short. 'Cause of course, we'll talk for more than an hour, but it's a good fun. Um, I enjoyed the pace. I enjoyed the visuals, the music. You didn't talk about music. Music was amazing. Music, animation style, the characters, the stakes. It felt like a final battle to a first film. Well, it is the first film of a trilogy of a final battle. And of course, the characters, especially Akaza and Gyo. This is Gyo's movie. I'm being serious. This is Gyo's movie. Like, this is his movie. This is Johnny Young Bosch's movie. Like, I know Tanjiro's the main character, but I'm like, oh gosh, Gyo. Like, how You Can Train was Rengoku's movie. This is Gyo's movie. Fair not. Um, the fanboy in me, I give it a 10 out of 10 as a fanboy, but my critic side, I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. It is just the pacing. Some of the fights were good, but some of the pacing, it was basically just three fights, but like the pacing was kind of off, and of course some of the characters didn't get some of their great backstories. But again, they can improve in the next film. But it's a solid film. Go guys, watch it, guys. If you're a Demon Slayer fan, go ahead and watch it. It's just the reason why this film is not a 10 out of 10 or even a 9 out of 10. It's just the pacing. The pacing's there, but the characters do their justice. It's still entertaining. It's worth the price of admission, especially watch English dub because Channing Tatum kills it. Channing Tatum kills it. That's yeah. So watch it both. Sub and dub. So yeah, 10. I give it 7.5 out of 10. That's our score. So if you combine it together, it's actually an 8. It's a low 8. You combine it, it's a low 8 for us to score together. Yes. So our official score for this movie is a low 8.0 out of 10. 8 out of 10 for both of us. We combine our scores. 8 out of 10. Watch in theaters. Watch it also in IMAX. Watch it. Definitely watch it in IMAX.
Oh, 100%.
Watch it in IMAX. So before we let's look some. There are some guest comments here. Want to read your gems?
Yeah.
All right. So Zero's XY say hey, and a new guy says welcome. Question from Nimitrix90. Who is your favorite Hashira? Mine's Gyome with Mystery as a close second. Who is your favorite Hashira?
Oh, that is such a hard question. It's got to be in between Rengoku, and it has to be the Mist Hashira because I feel when we see more of his character, he's just a little buddy. He's so carefree. So it has to be between two of the more cool-looking characters.
Yes. My favorite Hashira is actually Gyu. Not because of this movie. I actually like Gyu before. One, because I read the manga. So I was waiting for this movie. You know how hyped I was for this movie? It's actually Gyu. And actually, because I love water. Water is actually my main element for a lot of stuff. Rex Fox got new vibe. Yeah, Rex Fox, one of our members. Of course, is James. We had to give him a nickname later on. Don't worry, because we have all nicknames. Uh, I have yet to finish Demon Slayer, but I have heard a lot of great things about the show. Once I finish Gundam, oh, and Attack on Titan and Hopping. Yeah, Demon Slayer is great. It's all Netflix. Rex Fox, all Netflix. It's also Crunchyroll. All it. Yeah. I'm back. Clement Leo's here. 10 out of 10. Demon Slayer. Okay. So yeah. Before we leave, so this ends our review. Before we leave, any last thoughts or last second sayings to talk about before we finish this review, James?
I just want to thank all the people that worked on that film because as an artist and reading the details as they come out, the castle itself that takes place was over millions of 3D objects. The animation was top tier. You could definitely tell everyone from like the voice actors, the artists behind the scene, the characters, everyone puts it their all. And despite the fact that we may have not given it like the highest reviews possible, it is a film that deserves its praise. It is such a love letter to the fans of the series because it does such a great job of giving redemptions, giving characters their closing arcs, even if it's some of them are unfortunately and how the character story ends. I sincerely think it is a on top of a conclusion to the series. It is definitely a type of like love letter to the fans because they really gave it their all in terms of the quality of the music, the animation. It is such a great experience. You will not be disappointed by it.
Same. Final thoughts. Well, I say final thoughts, but I want to. Okay, same thing. The animation was incredible. Those 3D, the castle stuff moving, like the sequence in the even you watch me look at the background, you can see stuff moving. Like that's high quality animation. There's a reason why this movie took like what 3 to 4 years. Heck, they start doing
Years.
some during season 4, so it's like 4 or 5 years, and then of course they're making another film, which is part 2. Hopefully, it doesn't take it, but I think it'll be 2 years. So you guys don't know, like this is the first part of a trilogy of the final battle. Um, so don't expect maybe the final battle, like the final movie, will be like 2030, 2030. I hope it doesn't take long, but around that time. Um, of course, you guys know some movies turn to anime seasons, like the same thing with Mugen Train became an anime. Like, do you think this should become an anime series, James, or you just keep it a movie?
Look, I love going to the movies. I'm a little bit biased because I'm definitely an avid moviegoer, especially if it's like for anime films. Um, I think they should keep it as a movie just to keep it special because I remember all the promo, how they advertised this conclusion for the series was like it's something that you want to go with your loved ones, your friends, you want to experience it on the big screen because it is something that should be celebrated. If they do end up making kind of like what they did with Mugen Train, like a series version where they cut it up and maybe add like more scenes, maybe fix the pacing, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I feel it's not necessarily necessary. I feel the films, the part one as a film, and hoping that they keep up the same quality and everything that they should just keep this Infinity Castle saga just as films. I feel more people will appreciate it um, as a film as opposed to like a series. Unless you have no access to watch it as a film, I say it is truly worth it to go to your local theater, go wherever it's playing, watch it as it comes out on Crunchyroll or whatever streaming service. Um, it is definitely worth your time and your money because it as a film it just feels so much more special than an actual series. Um, I could see in the comments too that do you predict that the next Demon Slayer film will make more money than Infinity Castle? 100%. Yeah. I feel that when I check the box office because I am one of those movie nerds. It will definitely catch up if it hasn't already, and it will make more money. My actual plans is probably if I have the time, I do want to see this in 40x because I've seen the clips of people watching it, and when like the seats moving, your popcorn flying. I think that it's as a movie. Going back to the whole comment about being a movie, that's what makes it so special because there's so many different ways to watch this. You can watch this on the IMAX, which I know we both did. Is the best way to see it on the best big screen. You will not be disappointed. If you have access to a 40x, which is like a moving theater, I recommend that because it sounds like fun. It feels like it's definitely one of those movie experiences where you're going to talk about it with your friends and loved ones.
Yes, I believe this should be just a film. The only thing with Mugen Train, it was very perfect as a film. I wish again they make it as season two. They did put more backstory with Goku, but this one no. You do not need to put more backstory. So please keep it just a movie for the experience and also the speciality of it. Keep it just a movie because this is the first time a series ending just for a movie, a 3-part movie. So let's see. This question we believe the was the next film. Yes, we will make more money. Not that much, but I believe we'll make more money. I'm hoping that the third film makes 1 billion. Again, that's hopefully. Just let's get the hype going for Demon Slayer. Would you watch Free Castle 40x? That is a maybe because I do get motion sick a little bit when I watch movies. I dare to ugh, yeah. So anyway, so this ends our review of Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, the movie Infinity Castle Part 1. Part 2 might be in 2027 or 9. Let's see. Hopefully, sure. Don't too long. But yeah. Again, James, thank you for being my special guest. Woo!
Oh, so much fun to be here.
And
Thank you
his
for
first
having me.
podcast.
I know, it's so exciting.
Yes. So before we leave, James, where can they find you on social media? If you like,
Okay.
yeah.
So right now, the best way to find me is on my Instagram. Once you follow my Instagram, you'll see more updates. I do plan to fully, create like a review page, an art page down the line. But yeah, Instagram page is J the Mez. That's usually my nickname is Jamez. So yeah, good way to follow me there.
Awesome, awesome. You can find me Instagram. You can find me DancerBoy247. That is it over here. Yeah, if you like this review, please, or this video, if you're a new viewer or new, please follow and subscribe us at YouTube. We also is also on Facebook. You guys know it's actually going on Facebook. I know Facebook is weird. That's only doing like every 30 days, but for Facebook viewers who are watching, thanks for coming and supporting us and watching this. So it can give you more, it can be more accessible to you guys, for so. So yeah, again, this is the Buttery Show. Again, James, thank you for being a special guest. We will have him again soon. We'll have him again soon for another podcast. He's not going anywhere. He signed the soul. He signed a Demon Slayer contract. He's marked now. He's marked now. He'll come back. He'll come back for another. I won't say which one. Let's see what happens. Let's see what's next film we can or show we could talk about. But yeah. So again, guys, before we leave, we'll say thank you guys again. Go watch us. Go watch Demon Slayer if you Castle. You want to watch it? Watch it again as we do our final. Oh, where is that? Oh, as we do our final goodbyes, we'll do a goodbye wave and end this podcast. So again, guys, thanks so much. All right, see you guys. Bye. Wave, apprentice. Wave. Wave. Yeah, that's right. My buttery husher. I'm the buttery husher now. Wave. See you guys.